Hey guys, it's Miss Hardy recording for Biomedical Technology. It is Friday and it is the 23rd of October. Clicking on our daily agenda, the goal of today is to make sure we make it through the lecture because we are just a tiny bit behind in getting through those notes. Making sure that you are following along with all the vocabulary that we have gone over. And so some of that is listed in our discussion post for today when we talk about incidence and survival rates, mortality rates, and things like that. So again, focus on your vocabulary pretty heavy for this unit because that is what a lot of your test is. And remember, our tests are not designed to be vocabulary recall. It's not going to simply ask you, what does a proto-oncogene do? Okay, it's going to put it into a scenario, use it in a sentence, and you're going to have to know how to navigate through by your use of the vocabulary correctly. Okay, so for today, the discussion post is posted, finish cell bio and cancer, and then any other time you have allotted for this class today, those face-to-face learners will be spent working on your cell project. Cell projects are due on Monday. There are no exceptions to this project. Absolutely no exceptions to the date of this project. It must be turned in on Monday. You must take a picture of your project and upload it on Monday. And for my face-to-face learners, the next time you come to school, I would like for you to bring it with you. My honors, that is a requirement. You must bring that project with you. Okay? So moving on, because I'm not going to click on the module today. Excuse me, not going to click on the discussion post. We're moving on directly to the module. Is going to be the cell bio and cancer PowerPoint. So I'm going to click on this and we're going to get started where we stopped yesterday. All right, so with the development of cancer, cancer develops how? Uncontrolled. Huh? Cell growth, cell division. Make sure we have our masks on, guys. I know it's uncomfortable. It's hot in here today. Uncontrolled cell growth, okay? That happens completely out of mutation. We have things in our body that help us control abnormal cell growth. And those two things are the two types of genes listed here. Again, vocabulary. We have, everybody say proto, onco, genes, okay? Tumor suppressant. They work kind of backwards of one another to control cell growth, okay? Proto-oncogenes cause the cell to divide and multiply, okay? So they cause cell growth. Proto-onco, okay? So think about pro-onco. What is onco? Cancer. So they almost encourage the growth of these cells. Tumor suppressant genes stop the growth. So the body can pick up these abnormal cell growths, and sometimes those tumor suppressant genes work overdrive to stop that growth before it becomes an issue for us. Proto-oncogenes, if they get turned on because of a mutation in the genetic sequence, then they will continue causing that rapid cell division, which in turn leads to a mass of abnormal cells. What is a mass of abnormal cells called? A tumor. Perfect. Moving forward, cancer-causing agents damage the genes that regulate the cell cycle. We have driven that point home. What's a cancer-causing agent called? A carcinogen, okay? What is a carcinogen? Give me an example. Smoking, tanning, pollution, lifestyle, okay? So there are 5 stages of cancer development. You will need to know these 5 stages for your test, okay? First is mutation, second is hyperplasia, dysplasia, in situ, and invasive, okay? You will have to know these 5 stages, but they're very easy to learn, okay? I'm going to give them to you step by step by step, okay? If you want me to make you a flow chart for them, I can, okay? Let's start with mutation. First and foremost, you have your tumor, which is basically a mutation in the genetic cycle. Okay, that's straightforward, right? We know what a mutation is, okay? Then we have hyperplasia. Everybody say hyper, play, ja. Put it together. Hyperplasia, okay? Hyperplasia is a precancerous condition. You do not have full-blown cancer in the hyperplasia stage, but it's precancerous. It means that you're having an increase in the normal number of cells. And we know that cancer is an increase in cells, correct? 2 questions. Yes, sir. Absolutely. If you detect it early, could you potentially take out the tumor before it causes any harm? Yeah, you can absolutely, the tumor suppressant gene may not be able to keep up with those proto-oncogenes though. You may have that rapid cell division and the tumor suppressant genes can't keep up with it. And at that point, if we have early detection, we can remove the tumor cells and clean the area before it continues to spread. Now that does not cure your cancer, but it certainly helps the earlier we catch it, okay? So hyperplasia, hyper means what? If a child is hyper, what's that mean? They're doing too much. High, right? So hyperplasia is a high number of cells, okay? It is considered precancer. We're noticing in this particular area, you've got a lot of cell activity happening, you've got a lot of cell division happening, okay? It is precancerous, so it's not cancerous yet, but it's something we're going to keep an eye on, okay? That might be, think about skin cancer. Let's say you have a spot on your skin and the doctor says, I'm not concerned that it's cancer, but I might put you in this hyperplasia stage where you might have a birthmark, not a birthmark, but a freckle or something that we're keeping an eye on. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Huh? Why don't you come sit up here? You don't want to sit up here? You can take that chair and sit wherever you like. I can't make it much bigger because of this. Is that better? Yeah, we have a student who is not seeing well. Okay, dysplasia is different. What is dys? It means what? If I diss my friends, I said something like bad or against them, okay? So dysplasia is abnormal cells. Again, dysplasia does not necessarily mean cancer, but these cells are stopping functioning the way they are supposed to. So that's why it's a step up from hyperplasia. Hyperplasia is their normal cells, but we got a whole lot of them. Dysplasia is, oh shoot, the cells have gone haywire, okay? So do you see how these stages build upon themselves? So if you kind of learn them in order, it's easy to remember which one is which. So is that a test-taking skill? Yes. What is the test-taking skill? Learn them in order, okay? Next, we have in situ cancer. Everybody say in situ. Okay, fancy word for it's a tumor, okay? It's a tumor, but it stays where it originated, okay? We don't even know at this stage if it's benign or malignant, okay? Benign is not cancerous. What is malignant? It is cancerous, okay? Because an in situ stage, the tumor has remained where it is not considered what? Metastatic, okay? Now, once we get to invasive, which is the last step, it is not only malignant, which means it's cancerous, it means it has moved, okay? But I want to make some things very clear, okay? Invasive cancer, malignant cancer, you have to have a clarification here, okay? So, malignant means that it has spread into healthy tissues. So invasive cancer means that it has spread into healthy tissues surrounding the tumor. So I'm going to use breast cancer, okay? Breast cancer. Everybody look at me. Follow me along here because I'm going to make this very clear to you, all right? Invasive cancer is the 5th level, right? Okay? We know that invasive cancer is what? Malignant, which means that it is spreading, okay? The difference between invasive cancer and metastatic cancer is what I'm fixing to break down for you, okay? Invasive cancer means that it is spreading to the healthy tissue within the same area. So, I'm going to give you breast cancer, okay? Let's say I started with a tumor on one side of the breast tissue, okay? To be considered invasive cancer, that tumor has now spread within the same breast, okay? Spread within the same breast, all right? Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you. Let me go through this and then we'll see if that answers your question, okay? So invasive cancer means that it is malignant, it is cancer, it can spread to other parts of the body, but it is right now only spreading within healthy tissue of the same original spot. So I might have more than one tumor in the same breast, okay? It becomes metastatic cancer, which is not necessarily the same thing as invasive cancer, when it spreads where? To a completely different part of the body. So we have another question.
So how I understand it is there's a disease going to your neighbor, which is invasive. And then if there's a disease going to another city, then that's metastatic.
So what he said is he understands it as if there's a disease, if that you have a tumor and it spreads to your neighbor, it's invasive because your neighbor's right next to you. If it goes to another city, it's metastatic. And that is kind of true if we consider your neighbor the same breast tissue, okay? If you and your neighbor live in the same neighborhood, then you both are breast tissue, okay? In the same breast, all right? If it spreads to the same breast tissue and becomes a whole different tumor, it's still invasive, it's still malignant, okay? But it is not metastatic. Why in that scenario is it not considered metastatic? Huh? So if we use his scenario, okay, and I developed a tumor in my breast, and then I developed another tumor in my breast, it will be called what? Invasive cancer, because it's spreading to surrounding healthy tissue, right? What is it called when it spreads to my liver? Metastatic. So do you understand the difference here? You need to be able to understand that difference and use these words correctly because you are tested on them. Yes, ma'am. All tumors by definition are the same, but do they all look the same, feel the same? No. You have tumors in the lungs. Okay, so if I get it originally in the breast and then I get one in my liver and one in my lung, are they all the same? They may present differently, but we're able to figure out where the originating tumor came from. Yes. 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 All right, so this is what I just explained to you, okay? Cancers can spread by invasion, which means and I love that our student said neighbor because that's the definition. Invasion refers to the direct migration, which is just another word for movement, and penetration by cancer cells into neighboring tissues, okay? Neighbor. We still on the same street here. We still in the same booth, okay? Metastatic or metastatic. I can't say this word today. Y'all tell me the word. Metastasis, okay, refers to the ability of cancer cells to penetrate into the lymph nodes and blood vessels, circulate through the bloodstream, through the circulatory system, and invade tissue somewhere else. Yes. Your lymph nodes are like a filtration system of the body. So they help filter out diseases, sickness, illness. So if you've ever been to the doctor and they've done this to you when you've been sick, anybody had that done? Okay, what they're doing is it's your immune system basically, and they're filling to see if these lymph nodes here in your body are full, because that means your immune system has kicked in and started fighting something like an infection, and that kind of helps them determine how to treat you. Well, we have lymph system throughout our entire body, okay? So if I have one or two tumors in my breast tissue and it hits my lymph systems and they find it in my lymph nodes, then that means that it could potentially spread. It could have been spreading. So a lot of the time, guys, let's again use breast cancer. When women go in and have tumors removed, they also remove a portion of the lymph nodes. Everybody listening? Remove a portion of the lymph nodes to see if the lymph nodes look like there's been any sort of tumor spreading in there. We can pick up that in the bloodstream in the lymph nodes. When you get what? That's a type of cancer or a type of tumor. Not relevant to what we're talking about right this second, but we can talk about it after the thing, okay? All right, so malignant tumors are capable of doing invasion and metastasis, okay? Everybody understand that? What is the only type of tumor that can both invade healthy tissue and metastasize to other tissues? What is the only type of tumor that is capable of invading healthy tissue and metastasizing to outside tissue? Huh? No. Malignant tumors are the only tumors. I didn't hear you. Malignant tumors are the only tumors that are capable of invading healthy tissue and metastasizing to healthy tissue. If it invades, what is it invading? The neighbor. If it metastasizes, what is it invading? What is it doing? Somebody across the town. Thank you so much. It's very important. Okay. Cancer, again, results from an accumulation of genetic damages to cells over time. Most cancer is slow growing. We do have some that rapidly grow and divide. Cancer can change the way the cell looks. So a cancer cell would have different shape. It would have different growth, which means it would grow much more rapidly. A multitude of biochemical differences to what it does inside your body, okay? Cancer cells, so here is, again, a malignant cell would look like this. A normal cell looks like this. Cancer is a multi-step process. So I told you that your chance of getting cancer increases with what? No. Your chance of getting cancer increases as you get older. Thank you, okay? Cancer is more likely to develop after years of exposure to carcinogens. So think about the people who smoke their entire lives, and then all of a sudden they get lung cancer at 69. Okay? Cancer, again, develops over time, and it's because of the slow, gradual genetic mutations that happen because you're consistently exposing yourself to carcinogens, okay? Incidence, again, will increase among people with inherited predispositions. I told you with breast cancer, there was a gene. If you had this gene, you had an inherited predisposition to cancer. What was it? It sounded like the thing girls wear. BRCA gene. Yes. Boom. All right, so what can we do to prevent the risk of spread of cancer for us? We can make individual changes. What would be an individual change I can make? Okay, to stop smoking a cigarette, wear sunscreen, things like that. That's individual, okay? Health providers can make changes for us. They can remind us to do our health screenings. They can counsel us to quit tanning so much, quit drinking so much, quit smoking so much, okay? Nationally, we can regulate and minimize public exposure. What's a way we've minimized public exposure to carcinogens? Passing laws that not being able to smoke anymore until you're 21, or not being able to ride in a car with someone under the age of 18 smoking a cigarette, okay, because you're unwillingly exposing that person. It's still 18, because at 18 you're considered a legal adult. You know that you're entering into a vehicle with someone who's going to be smoking, okay? Then, of course, we have international, which means actions of developed countries. Are we a developed country? Yes, like ourselves, to bring cancer and to fight cancer worldwide, okay? Attention to ethical and public policy issues. We're going to dive into that a little bit more. Cancer research, okay? Where do you think a lot of money goes right now? Into cancer research. We want to understand the normal cell cycle. When you're in anatomy and physiology, do you learn all the things that could happen that are wrong with a structure and a function first? Or do you learn the structure and function of something first? Okay, you learn what it is and how it works first. If you know what it is and you know how it works, you're going to be able to better understand what happens when it goes wrong. Okay, that is the same principle here. Okay. Treatment, we have three options. We have surgery. What are we doing with surgery? We're going in and removing it, okay? Radiation and chemotherapy. We're going to break these down, okay? We are going to break these down. I think they're breaking down in your notes for you, okay? Chemotherapy can include drugs, medications, prescriptions, things like that. Radiation would be those radiation rays to either shrink the size of the tumor and get it to an operable rate, or shrink it so that it causes you less discomfort. Okay? Cancer-related lifestyle choices. These are common sense. If you eat healthier, you could have a lower risk of cancer. Being active is good for you all around. Maintaining a healthy weight. Not using tobacco products. Are you serious in the middle of my thing? Go ahead. Fast. Okay? Cancer-related lifestyle choices, protecting your skin, wearing SPF 15 at a minimum. Okay, what is SPF 15? It is a what? Huh? It's a sunscreen. It's a sun protectant. Okay? I have to look it up. Not relevant to what we're talking about. Okay? Avoiding the sun during peak hours. 12 to 4 p.m. during the summer is the hottest part of the day. Okay? Avoiding carcinogens, limiting alcohol to little or none. The more you drink alcohol, the more risk you run, okay? Moderate is what is defined as 2 drinks per day for men and 1 drink per day for women. That's why they ask you at the doctor's office, do you drink alcohol on a moderate basis, a minimal basis, not at all, or excessive? Okay, none of you should be marking anything here. Okay, having your regular checkups. Why is it important to go to your physical every year? Because you could do what? What could you do at your physical? You could catch. Okay. At our physical, they check your whole body, right? They check all your labs and everything. They could potentially catch cancer if you have it, and we could go ahead and treat it. Diseases is perfect. Okay. Public policies, we've talked about this. Ethical issues. So the biggest one here is obviously it is your right to smoke. It is also my right to not want to be around smoke. So where do we draw the line between rights and public policy? So what typically, just look at Biden, what they've done is you can smoke all you want to, but you got to be out on the sidewalk. You can't smoke on our property. You can't smoke on school property. Yeah, designated areas for smoking, okay? Okay, so we're going to stop on slide 47 and 48. We're not going to cover slides 47 and 48. We're going to move on to slide 49. So slide 49 is about skin cancer. It's the most common form of cancer in the United States, and there are 2 main types, basal cell and squamous cell carcinoma, okay? Both are curable with early detection. Curable. We can cure you from this cancer with early detection. My dad has had both. They went in, they removed the spot on his skin, and he was considered cured. Okay? Melanoma is the one that is the 3rd most common, and it's also the most dangerous. Everybody say melanoma. Melanoma is the most dangerous, okay? It's cancer of the cells that produce melanin. Melanin gives us our what? Your skin color, skin complexion, okay? We've already talked about the risk factors for skin cancer. I'm not focusing on those anymore. The A, B, C, D, E's of melanoma, okay? A, B, C, D, E's. You need to know these. It's what would trigger you that if you had a spot somewhere on your body and it was asymmetrical, it had an irregular border, it was a different color, it was black or purple, it was larger than a pea, and it's changing over time, that you could potentially have skin cancer. And this is for everybody, guys. Every skin complexion, every color, no matter how much or how little melanin you have, be mindful. Okay? Breast cancer, we talked about that one a lot. The clinical diagnosis for breast cancer comes from a mammogram, and then of course we could do a clinical breast exam and a breast self-exam. So with a breast self-exam, you're doing it to yourself, and that's encouraged to women after the age of 35 and 40, depending on where you're from or who you are. Yes, sir.
So, mammogram doesn't have to be on cancer, you can just like regular checkup, right?
Absolutely. So the question was, are mammograms only when you have cancer, or are they for checkups? You get them every 1 to 2 years after age 40. Okay. Excuse me. A student emailed me. Okay. So a mammogram is something basically where they take your breast tissue, okay, and they put it between two plates, and they squish it down as flat as they can, and they take pictures of what's inside, because they have to get the breast tissue flat to be able to see what's inside, to pick up a tumor. It's uncomfortable to pick up a tumor or something like that. Before the age of 40, they pretty much have you doing clinical breast exams where your provider would feel to make sure you don't have tumors, and then self breast exams, and you're taught that at your gynecologist, okay? The BRCA gene we've talked about. Cervical cancer is next. Cervical cancer, the main thing that you need to know about this, who has a cervix, man or woman? A woman has a cervix, okay? Cervix is where the baby exits, okay? Cervix is where the sperm enter, okay? Cervix is right before you get to uterus, okay? That is where you are penetrated during sexual contact, okay? And the only way to diagnose cervical cancer is a pap smear, okay? A pap smear is where they take, it's kind of like a long Q-tip, they insert it into the same area that you would be penetrated during sexual activity, swab, and they test those cells to see if there's anything abnormal going on, okay? That's how we pick up cervical cancer, yes. It would be in this, it would be kind of considered all of the above, because even if it's in the surrounding tissue, it could still be cervical cancer because the cells have gotten there. Okay, I think what you're asking is it's in the cells, it's in the tissue. You can't, it's not a mass, it's abnormal cells. And remember, cells are microscopic, they're teeny weeny tiny, okay? So it is some additional terms here that you need to know that we have talked about. Chemotherapy is drugs. Apoptosis is what? Self-destruction, because it says I'm old and I'm tired and I ain't working no more, okay? Biopsy, what is a biopsy? No. I have a tumor, okay? I go in and I puncture it and I take a piece out. And you get it tested. That's a biopsy, okay? Pap smear test for what? Cervical cancer. A colonoscopy would test for colon cancer, okay? Diagnosis. What does it mean when you're diagnosed with something? You have it, okay? Incidence is the number of new cases diagnosed each year per 100,000. Mammogram test for breast cancer. Oncology is the study of. Oncologist is a person who studies. Radiation therapy uses high energy, like x-rays, radiation waves. You're reading the thing, thank you. To treat what? What are you treating? Cancer. Prognosis. Prognosis, this is one we haven't talked about yet. If I say the prognosis is poor, the outcome, but progress was a great word too since he didn't read it, okay? Remission, what does remission mean? Remission. If we say that Sarah's in remission from breast cancer. Not necessarily recovery. Remission actually means that at this point in time, you do not have any cancer present in your body, okay? After. Telomere is the end of a chromosome. I'm okay if we don't review that one. And then here are a few additional videos for you. So at this point, we have covered this unit, okay? We have covered this unit. We're going to have a few more activities. This is one of my favorite units to teach because it is very interesting and there's so many questions that can come from it, okay? So make sure that you are working on your cell project. Make sure you review the vocabulary from the slideshow and look Monday for an activity regarding the vocabulary. Okay, look Monday for an activity coming your way regarding the vocabulary. Okay, what else is due on Monday? Cell projects. All right, guys, thank you so much.